folks, Free Play Frank. Well, this time I got a video about the steady rest that I made for my vintage Sheldon lathe. And then later I'm going to play an awesome song by the Electric Light Orchestra, Do Ya? And I've got a shout out for you guys tonight, Andy's Machines. Now, I'm not sure where this fellow's from, but he's an excellent machinist. I've watched some of his videos and he does the top quality work, really nice high quality work, and he explains everything that he does. And so make sure you check out Andy's channel, you'll like it. Okay, let's get to it. Alright, well, this is my vintage 10-inch Sheldon lathe. Now this model was made from 1947 to 1952 in Chicago, USA. And when I got this machine, I got every piece of lathe equipment that person has with it. However, that didn't include a steady rest. So whenever I'm turning a piece that won't fit through the center of the spindle, then I've got it's way out here. You need to be able to support the end of it so that you can face it off and center drill it. And then you can turn it between centers. So we're going to be making a steady rest for this today. Now I got this piece of metal in here. This is just to find the center. And here's my cardboard template that I drew out here. And as you can see, I revised my drawing a couple of times. As you have to do that, guys. You're never going to get it right the first time every time. And I prefer to just show all the mistakes as well. That way you guys can learn along with me. Now this hole here, this is 4.5 inches, the big hole, and this here I drew around that piece that's in the chuck to get the center. And I have 3 bearings, and this bearing, they're all the same diameter on the outside, but this bearing has a slightly smaller internal diameter, and it won't make any difference. And then these long nuts here. So what I'm going to do, and then this part at the bottom here, this is a cutout to clear stuff, to clear the carriage, and this part here is the ways of the lathe, and this is going to attach to the lathe on the ways, and it's going to be mounted to the inside of the ways far enough so the carriage can still come in and out of this area here. And then there's going to be a bolt welded on the bottom here somehow with a piece of steel at the bottom that goes underneath the ways that I can tighten up to hold this in place. And I'm going to get some bolts that fit through here, and I'm going to make pieces that hold these bearings so that you can turn the bolt and move the bearings farther into the middle to line it up with whatever diameter or shaft that you're going to turn. So I'll get some more parts of this made, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I got all the pieces cut out and ground and fitted. And it's going to be in 2 pieces. These are going to be, this piece here goes between the ways of the lathe, and this piece goes underneath the ways of the lathe to hold it in place. And I cut these out here so that you can drop it in with this at an angle and just turn it. And there's going to be holes drilled with a bolt, and I'm going to weld a nut on the bottom of this. And this piece here fits on the ways of the lathe like this, and you can see, I'll show you in a minute how that works. And these 2 pieces here, this is the top half of it because it has to be hinged together, so it's gonna be set up like this, and then the rollers are one's gonna come from here, one's gonna come from there, and one down through the top. And then you can, this is going to be hinged, so I chopped it out over here for clearance so that you can open it like this, so you don't have to disassemble the entire thing to take your piece out if you want to fit it. And this piece here also fits perfectly in between there, and you can see I did this part down here so it fits over that so that it can't move. It's got a little bit of play, but when you get it 90 degrees, it's tight. It doesn't have any play at all. And then this part over here, this other little piece of steel here, is going to be mounted in here, and it's going to be welded so that it holds the steady bearing at 90 degrees. And then that other piece of metal is going to be back this way slightly so that it gives room to install the rollers. So we're going to be doing that next. Alright, I got these two pieces fitted to the lathe now, and it's square this way. It's square the other way. So now I'm going to tack weld those two together, and then this line here is where the other half of it's going to go. This piece here is going to go to there, and then the roller bearings are going to fit in between the two halves. And I got to figure out where to drill the hole to put the locking piece underneath. Now I'm lining up the finger adjusters for the roller bearings. So I'll show you the bearing first. And you can see that I had to grind off part of the washer so that it would, because the washer's about the same diameter as the bearing. I made this bushing out of a piece of solid stock on the lathe, and it doesn't matter if it's rough because it's going to be tack welded in and then ground down. And then here's the bolt that's going to push it in and out, and then this is going to be welded to the steel, and then this part here is going to be tack welded to those washers and that little shaft there to hold the bearing, and then these pieces are going to keep it from twisting. And then I have another piece of steel here. I'm going to put one on each side of this, tack welded to the frame, one here and one here, and then that's going to keep it so that it slides in and out nice and smooth. Alright, so you got it all those small pieces made now, and this is going to be welded to here, and these pieces here are going to be welded to there. This piece slides when you adjust the screw. Bearings are going to be attached to the end of this piece here. I got two more the same. This is the hinge, so that when I lift, I take out this pin here. This is going to be welded solid, and this whole section here can flip up out of the way. And we have the other half that is going to go on over top, and we have the top half, which is going to go on over top of here. So I'll get some more grinding and welding done, and then we'll fit it on the lathe and see how it works. Okay, this piece isn't quite thick enough. It's supposed to be 3/4 here, and it's a little bit more than 5/8, so got some 1/8 inch flat stock here, and I made some spacers. That's going to go on top of there, and then the bearing is going to go here and get tacked down. You see I got one all tacked down, squared up now. Fairly complicated arrangement trying to tack this straight so I can weld it and have it level. I've just got the bearing sitting in there to hold these two washers at the right spacing. So we'll get that tacked, and I'll show you what that looks like. Got this fitted up in the lathe so it's nice and square, and I held the two pieces together with my welding magnet, took it outside and welded it. Got the nut welded on the bottom of the hold down clamp, and I found a bolt that uses the same wrench as the tailstock. That way I don't have to go chasing for wrenches. Alright, here's what this looks like. See, they all slide real nice. Trying to get a hold of it here. This one's a little bit stiff. That's mighty fine. These all turn no problem. So now we're going to put the other half on. Oh, we got a visitor. Hi, Fluffy. There's Fluffy and her babies. I haven't seen you on the camera here for a while, sweetheart. Hey, sweetie. 2-month-old babies. Oh, finger eater. Well, she's pretty much done now. I had to add these braces here to keep it straight, because when you tighten this lockdown nut, it wants to tilt this way, so this stops it and keeps it 90 degrees. And I was originally going to add these strips of flat bar all the way around and around in here, but it's not really going to help it that much, so I just did it on the top section here. And also you have the rollers that slide up and down through these sections, so there's only going to be like a little piece here, a little piece there. So this will be fine. And I added these little grips here so that you can turn this, and then this is the lock nut, so when you get it set to where you want, you tighten this nut up against here. Now I'm going to spend some time on it and grind it and make it pretty, give it a paint job, and then we'll try it out. Alright, here it is painted. Now we're going to install it on the lathe and see how it works. Okay, I've got it installed on the lathe. I got a piece in the chuck here, and as you can see, it's running true. It's able to get dialed in. So I'll take a cut now and show you what it looks like. Okay, well, I tried her out and seems to face this off real nice. There's a tiny bit there that's not quite cut deep enough, but I'm just doing this as a demonstration. And as I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. Well, I've got some projects where I've got to turn some shafts that are too thick to fit through the center of my lathe, so that was what inspired me to build this. Flicker on here. Look forward to you guys joining me building some projects with us.
I've seen everything you can see now, woman. I've seen lovers flying through the air hand in hand, and I've seen babies dancing in the midnight sun, and I've seen dreams that come from the heavenly skies above, and I've seen old men crying at their own gravesides, and I've seen pigs sitting watching pictures slide. But never seen nothing like you. Do you want my love? Now woman, do you want my face? I need it. Do you want my mind? I'm saying, do you want my love? Well, I heard the crowd singing out of tune as they sat and sang Old Lang Syne by the light of the moon. And I heard the preachers banging on their drums, and I heard the police playing with their guns. But never heard nothing like you. Do you want my love? Oh woman, do you want my face? I need it. Do you want my mind? I'm saying, do you want my love? In the country where the sky touches down, in the field she lays her head down to rest in the morning sun. They come running just to touch your feel, just to get his feel, just to catch a love back here they don't give. But well, I think you know what I'm trying to say now, woman. That is, I want to save you for a rainy day. I've seen enough of the world to know that I gotta get it all to grow. Do you want my love? Now, woman, do you want my face? I'm saying, do you want my mind? Come on now, do you want my love? Oh, look out! Do you want my love? Do you want my love? All right, do you have it? Do you by ELO. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.